So we are getting questions that are actually mirroring my next question, which is, the advice to give. So, we have a lot of students registered. Probably, I remember going to school, no matter what you're studying, if you're studying and working, you're probably struggling a little bit. So, Ayaz, looking back, what does you today have for advice for you then, right? Like, if you were to, speak to your younger self, what do you say to help them along their path in gaming?
Yeah, so there are only two things I would say, honestly. One would be, these both things are by experiences. That's what I've learned. One was that it is good to strive for quality content and stuff like that, but you must never forget that business is also an important part. I mean, the
Mm,
financial, right?
mm,
So I've always been a financial guy.
mm-hmm,
I've always been a product guy and never a
mm-hmm,
financial. So I just
mm,
jumped into that stuff and things started going up, honestly.
mm-hmm,
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
that's one thing. And the other would be whenever or whatever you do, always write it down. Things can take any kind of turns, right? So it's always good to have documented stuff with you.
Yeah, makes sense. And how about you, Junaid? What advice do you give younger Junaid, who's out there, trying to make games, trying to learn it, trying to go to school, leave school to take a job? Is there anything that you now producer behind this, successful title tell younger version of you?
So I used to be like a perfectionist, so everything took a lot of time to finish. So this is where I used to like suffer at. I didn't used to like complete games. I used to like left them hanging. A lot of work
Mm,
that I left hanging. I remember even like leaving stuff in the school, the assignments and everything, because if I can't do it perfectly, I won't do it. So this
mm,
was the mindset I used to have, and I've seen like a lot of game developers do have this too. They start making a game, and in midst of it they see like it's not going too well, and then they
mm,
drop and to make a new game.
mm,
Everyone has itch to become a perfectionist, and it has been very very hard to let go. I still sometimes have those like flashbacks with the perfectionism, but you have to shift your mindset to more lean oriented mindset where you have to go through iterations of everything
mm,
you have to be good at, even making games. For example, if you're an artist making art, if you're a developer making like code, you have to do it again and again in different iterations to get better at it other
mm-hmm,
than doing one thing perfectly. So
mm-hmm.
I also recommend everyone this book called The Lean Startup. It's a book about entrepreneurship and how like iterating like brings the real value other than perfecting everything, perfecting the product, perfecting. So you have to be very iterative and lean with your skills. So
Yeah.
to all students and anyone who wants to improve their skills, I would recommend them to iterate over your skill. If you're an
Mm-hmm.
artist, make as much art as you can. If you're a developer, make more and more games, prototype a lot of
Yeah.
stuff, ideate a lot of stuff, and you will find you improving rather than working on something very big that's very hard to achieve or complete. Yeah.
I feel like I hear that a lot in games, like
Yeah.
whether you're in mobile, PC, console, doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. It's, and it makes sense because I think, hearing about your stories and thinking about my own, there is this deep, deep passion for games, right? And so, it's like you remember your Sega Genesis, you remember your Atari, I remember my Commodore 64. It's like you want to have that impact, right? So it has to be perfect, but it's like the first one never will be, right? You got to keep on shipping, get a feel for that flow, which I think for any developer that's out there that's trying to work independently or even build a portfolio to help them get a job at a tiny Kraken or a game district or anything like that, um, showing the ability to ship, right, to actually execute, probably way more valuable than being like, well, I have this perfect idea and I've been spending like 6 years on it, and scope creep has fully taken over the roadmap, and yeah, absolutely. So it's super interesting. So.